I think it's time. Yes, it's time to bring history back to life.
Cool! It's amazing!
Dreamer Cats TV.
Do you like collecting? Then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the like button because it does something very special. It makes you younger. I know what you're thinking. Why isn't he showing us movie footage? Well, more than 70% of the original earliest movie reels have long since crumbled away because nitrocellulose, which they were stored on, deteriorates very rapidly, and that's why colourful trade cards like these are so precious. America stops exporting silent movies to Germany for fear that they would use them in explosives, because nitrocellulose is also a very unstable and flammable substance, explaining why there were many cinema fires in the early days. What better way to see World War I than on colourful collectibles that were actually issued at that time, mirroring the fears and desires of the ordinary people who used the products they came with. These colourful miniature works of art were very appealing compared with the monochrome magazines and newspapers of that time. You can imagine soldiers collecting these cards as a distraction from the surreal trench warfare, like a mini-ordered oasis in a chaotic sea of mud and blood. Many exciting scientific inventions and discoveries were made in the late 19th and early 20th century, but the fun and optimism and initial noble intentions of the inventors can sometimes blind us to the equally destructive and unpredictable nature of our technology, even today. Here is an interesting set of army life prior to World War I, as if preempting that near-apocalyptic event that would totally change the world forever. For a war to begin, you obviously need to persuade people to fight for you, and that's where propaganda posters like these come in. These are miniature recruiting posters that were issued in packets of wills in 1915. Sometimes during war, the leaders play fast and loose with the truth, as in the case of this rather aggressive propaganda set which they passed, which portrays the German people as almost demonic. World War I was a war like no other. It was the transition from the old world to the new, from riding around on horses to armoured motor vehicles and aeroplanes. Horses didn't have a chance against machine gun and mortar fire, but that didn't stop the military leaders from initially sending horses to the front line, as implied in this early World War I set of cavalry uniforms, depicting the soldiers in their beautiful ceremonial attire. The enormous number of four-legged casualties is perhaps betrayed by this card that depicts a horse ambulance and comes from a set of armoured military vehicles that was passed by censor in 1916. Although the motor car had been invented in the late 19th century, those early vehicles were poorly equipped for the rough terrain in World War I. But the fear of death is a sure way to motivate you into improvising and adapting technology for more practical uses. In this set we get to see some of the precursors to the military tank, including the Caterpillar tractor. In fact, this set was issued in the same year that they started to use military tanks. They were probably top secret at that time, and that could explain why they're not featured in this particular set. Every cloud has a silver lining, as they say. Out of necessity's sake, a blind eye was turned to centuries of class and gender conventions and rules, as middle class and upper class men fought side by side in some cases. Women also filled many of the roles normally reserved for men before the war on the home front, probably helping them to gain the right to vote after World War I. Interestingly, this set of artillery in action was issued towards the end of the war and shows a more darker, grittier and less choreographed side than some of the early scenes that I've seen on cards. Two of my viewers inspired me to do this video. Van1976 kept asking me whether I had any cars on World War One. And Waterloo 745 is interested in military related modelling, so please check out their great YouTube channels and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to check out the largest collection of vintage trade cards and cigarette card videos online on my channel.